Thanks for joining us this Monday evening. It has been a busy Monday, to say the least, especially here in Sacramento. More migrants were unexpectedly flown in and dropped off again. And Governor Gavin Newsom is standing firm on who he thinks is behind it, calling that person a small, pathetic man, which we will get to a little bit later in the show. But leading off our show tonight is video that is just extremely hard to watch. Take a look. Robberies in broad daylight happening in South Sacramento again and again and again, and the Asian American community in South Sacramento is concerned for their safety. Police believe shoppers are being targeted at Asian shopping centers around this area, 65th Street and Stockton Boulevard. Our Jeannie Nguyen has been speaking with the community.
Alex, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says that one of the attacks you just saw happening in front of a cafe on Saturday afternoon, a man was standing there when he was attacked by 4 people. Now, you'll see that video again right there. The Sheriff's Office tells me this was an attempted robbery that happened at Bamboo Cafe after the attack. That group quickly takes off in a silver car following the attack. Now, the Sheriff's Office says the suspects in this case were all juveniles and were arrested and booked on robbery charges. Today, the owner of a restaurant just right next to where this happened tells ABC 10 she is afraid for the safety of her staff, customers, and wants to see more security in the area.
I think bring more security to the area is the first thing that concerns me a lot. And the second thing is I think the community should do something, just to make things get better, because we want to live in such a peaceful world. It's not like this.
Now, in another video, the Sheriff's Office says the same group tried to rob some patrons dining outside around the same area. The Sheriff's Office says that same group was caught last night around 10:30. Now, I just did hear from one of the victims of this attack, and he tells me he fought hard to make sure those people did not take anything from him. And in the process, he says he's still recovering from his wounds. I'll have more on his story coming up on the show tonight at 11. Alex, back to you.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. Again, it has been a busy Monday. Let's get you caught up on a few other things happening in our area. A lot of people are talking about this police shooting in Stockton. A man carrying a gun was shot and killed by police last night in the area of Hammer Lane and Mariners Drive. We still do not know the man's name or how many officers fired their weapons. This is a very busy area in the city. Traffic was backed all the way up to the highway. One person told us at the scene last night that this was traumatizing. 2 sites expected to open for people experiencing homelessness in Sacramento County are facing more setbacks. The Stay Safe locations at Florin and Power Inn Roads and East Parkway are now expected to open in October. That's a months-long delay for the sites that have already been sitting like this for months. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, just hours ago, another plane carrying migrants arrived in Sacramento. This is the second flight that's believed to have been contracted by another state government. Something similar just happened Friday night when 16 migrants from Texas were flown here and dropped off at a church. Mayor Steinberg tells us that the city and the county are doing everything that they can to help these people with housing, finding their families, and much more. He's hoping that there is an investigation, and if Governor of Florida Ron DeSantis is behind this, well, here's the mayor's message to him.
If it is DeSantis, it's a sign of weakness. The guy's running against Trump. He's way behind. It's just, people like this are quickly forgotten in the annals of history. They're remembered, for a moment for trying to do something to uplift themselves at the expense of others.
Governor Newsom tweeted this over the weekend, tagging Governor DeSantis, saying, "You small, pathetic man. This isn't Martha's Vineyard." Kidnapping charges. And I also want to mention that California State Attorney General, he is also involved too. Now, there are a lot of rumors flying around about this story. As for what else do we know about the migrants that arrived in the capital city, Roxana Elias has tonight's main point from Sacramento Executive Airport.
At about 10:30 Monday morning, this plane carrying 20 migrants landed at the Sacramento Executive Airport.
The flight came from Deming, New Mexico. Before that, the flight had originated in El Paso. We do not know if the 20 migrants aboard, got on in Deming or if they got on in El Paso.
This is the second time a group of migrants have been dropped off in Sacramento. On Friday, 16 men and women were left with their belongings at the doorsteps of the Sacramento Diocese. A spokesperson for the Attorney General says the company associated with the group of migrants arriving Friday appears to have also been involved in Monday's flight.
The unfortunate reality is that because immigration continues to be a political issue and immigrants are being used as political football, that it could very well be the case that migrants will continue to be bused into California or flown into California.
The California Immigration Policy Center says this could be in part because California has made it clear it's a welcoming state. But there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Sacramento County says just like the first flight, they did not know the migrants were arriving. But it's offering both groups assistance as the California Department of Justice investigates.
They were transported to a religious institution. Right now, our county social workers are en route and are going to assess all those folks, make sure they have the services and supports that they need, and go from there to make sure that they get what they need.
Regardless of the circumstances, the California Policy Center believes California is prepared to take care of the migrants.
California can extend unemployment insurance to undocumented immigrants and make sure that everyone's eligible for food benefits regardless of their immigration status, and that those are some of the key steps we can take to make sure that our state is truly inclusive.
And just so you know, we have reached out to other groups who may be assisting the migrants and are still waiting to hear back from them. But the county says that they are being housed, fed, and are all doing well. As an immigration fight continues in America, a growing number of DACA recipients, also known as Dreamers, are now choosing to self-deport and are moving to other countries like Canada. ABC News recently spoke to DACA recipients. Many were brought into the U.S. by their parents as children and have grown up entirely as Americans. Now some are making the decision to give up on their American dream. DACA was supposed to be temporary, but Congress remains gridlocked on immigration policy, and the Obama-era program is now back in the courts.
We love this country, and we just want a chance to succeed. Immediately, when I saw that news, and I started doing the math of, okay, if I renew by this day, and I was like, I caught myself. I said, Miguel, you can't live like this. This is crazy.
States, it's basically a golden cage. You have all these opportunities, but you can't really go anywhere past a certain point.
Why do this? For some, they say it's about taking back control of their lives. People like social workers, teachers, and community organizers choosing to leave. They do want Congress to act. And as you heard, DACA is going through the courts again. It could be heard before the Supreme Court and possibly struck down sometime next year. Coming up after the break, the state Senate honoring LGBTQIA individuals for Pride Month, including one protesters are calling, quote, drag none. So who is Sister Roma?
I'm still tracking areas of showers and thunderstorms, mainly for the foothills in the Sierra, but a chance develops for the valley tonight.
And later in the show, an Afghan refugee is making her story known through a new children's book, showing that representation really does matter. I was just telling Monica, it was hot this weekend. It felt hot. It was hot. But a lot of people now are seeing a lot of cloud coverage, right?
Right. It's kind of feeling like, oh, rain is not too far off, getting a little bit more humid. And we are tracking those showers and thunderstorms trying to press their way into the valley. Now, it's really been struggling throughout much of the afternoon. However, overnight tonight through early tomorrow is when it makes a much bigger push. And that's why we have the expanded risk of thunderstorms throughout the valley, the foothills, and the Sierra, not only for tomorrow, but we're going to extend that into Wednesday, mostly for the central and northern part of the Sacramento Valley. But you can see down in Southern California, a chance of those showers and thunderstorms as well. Periods of heavy rain, lightning, some gusty winds, and even hail as well. As Alex was mentioning, it was quite warm over the weekend. Highs in the 90s, dropping to the low 80s for today. And that's been the real turn of events, with temperatures much cooler in the forecast. We still hung on to those 90s for Oroville and Marysville, where we had lack of the breeze coming in from the Pacific, but that too is going to change. Cloud cover already starting to expand throughout the valley towards the coast. And then we get that push of the moisture moving its way in overnight tonight through early tomorrow. A few sprinkles on the walkways as we head out to work and school. Some showers continuing for the morning commute over towards the coast. Mainly the foothills and the Sierra will continue to see that risk of thunderstorms, not only through our Tuesday, but into our Wednesday forecast as well. And you'll see that in the 5-day outlook through the mountains. For the foothills, it's going to be the upper foothills that we have that chance of thunderstorms, but even the coast getting in on some of the raindrops as well. Our 10-day forecast, we've got that chance of thunderstorms for our Tuesday forecast. We're dry Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the valley, but take a look at that. By the weekend, we're looking at a renewed chance, slight chance right now, of some showers all the way through early next week.
Coming up after the break, false blood test results suggesting that people have cancer. What you should know coming up next. Well, for many of us, getting a blood test can be scary enough. But then imagine your results come back. They suggest that you might have cancer. And then you find out, well, that's not really the case. That's exactly what happened to hundreds of people. The company that owns the first of its kind cancer detecting blood test sent false positive results to people, including firefighters. The company insists there was not an issue with the test, but there was a software glitch. Pride is held every June to celebrate the LGBTQ community and its history. The state Senate and Assembly are honoring 18 members of the LGBTQ plus community for Pride Month, and the state Senate held a ceremony inside while others held a prayer vigil outside in protest. And one of the honorees at today's ceremony is sparking controversy. Becca Hotbegger is live at the Capitol to explain.
Yeah, Alex, the controversy surrounds one of the Pride Month honorees, Sister Roma. She's a member of the LGBTQIA plus activist group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Members dress in drag as nuns, which some Christian groups are saying is offensive and something they think state lawmakers shouldn't be honoring. On the state Senate floor Monday afternoon, 18 honorees posed for photos after senators passed a resolution proclaiming June LGBTQ plus Pride Month. The honorees were chosen by members of the California LGBTQ Legislative Caucus.
Sister Roma has dedicated more than half her life to community service.
Senator Scott Wiener from San Francisco chose to honor Sister Roma. For more than 3 decades, she has been a member of the LGBTQIA plus group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Founded in San Francisco in 1979, it's a group of mainly men who dress in drag as nuns for charity, activism, and performances. Today, there are chapters all over the country and even world. Sister Roma was honored for her fight against HIV/AIDS and combating violence against the LGBTQIA plus community, and for dedicating more than half her life to community service, activism, and fundraising.
Amen.
But outside the Capitol, the California Family Council, the California Catholic Conference, and other Christian groups held a prayer vigil in protest of her being honored, saying the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are offensive and mock Christianity, particularly Catholicism.
How else do you take that except an attack against the Catholic faith? When you see them mocking Jesus, when you see them with sex acts portrayed on a crucifixion, how else do you say that's not mocking the Catholic Church?
That's actually hurts my feelings to think that people think that I hate them or that I'm mocking them, especially something that they hold so dear to their heart. The only issue that I have is when people turn around and decide to interpret the scripture in a way that they can weaponize their religion and use it to oppress and discriminate against people.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.